This is the Tower of Monsters, a calamity that suddenly appeared in our world many years ago. Monsters poured out of the tower like bees swarming from a hive. Humanity was helpless in the face of such an overwhelming threat, pushed to the brink of extinction. But just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a group of people known as the Progenitors appeared. They became the first generation of the transcendents. They repelled the monster invasion and successfully destroyed the tower. Thus, humanity stopped the monsters and victory was secured. The Progenitors were revered as heroes who saved the world, and they were enshrined forever in the Shrine of Progenitors. Several centuries later, a boy sits in a library. He says, "My name is Minato Kanagi. When I was a kid, I used to love reading the tales of the Progenitors at the library in the shrine. Like the Blade Master, who defeated 10,000 monsters with a single branch without even saying a word. The transcendents in those legends were larger than life. They felt like characters from a fairy tale. I desperately wanted to make my mark on history, just like them. Then one day, I received a sign. It was one of the marks that appear on everyone chosen as a transcendent. I swore an oath on the mark that I would become a transcendent worthy of being remembered like the Progenitors. At least, that's what I thought. Someone calls out, saying that the results are in, and everyone passed. As the classroom empties, someone asks the main character to clean up. They say, "Do you mind sweeping the floor and taking out the trash? I wish you were a transcendent. You could just sign your name and pass automatically." Everyone jokes about the hunter exam, but Minato thinks, "Yet, I have failed 3 years in a row. You're only allowed to take the exam 3 times, and this was my last chance. Now, I will never become a hunter. I passed the written exam with flying colors, and I even practiced to boost my aura. What's the point of having a transcendence mark if I can't even pass this exam? It's no more useful than a silly bruise. This is so unfair." Suddenly, someone calls his name and says, "Hurry up and get outside. Everyone is waiting by the school gate." He says, "I completely forgot," as someone talks about him. He was supposed to be standing there, being admired by everyone. A boy arrives, and everyone compliments him. One of the voices says, "So that's him, the new prodigy everyone is talking about. He's the grade A hunter, Kaisei Hizaki." Kaisei says, "I'm sorry for causing such a fuss." As the main character walks toward them, 2 boys stop him, saying, "Kaisei is waiting." The boys continue, "In case you haven't noticed, there are reporters right behind me." They apologize, saying, "This is all your matter. I hope you don't mind us following you and filming for the day." Now, about the cover picture, I was thinking we could show you slaying a dragon with a single slash of your sword. What do you say? Kaisei responds, "That's an excellent idea, although I hope it doesn't seem like too much." This guy is Kaisei Hizaki, the main character thinks. He joined the training school at the same time as me 3 years ago and quickly became known as a genius for achieving top marks in every subject. But that's not all. He also bullied me the whole time we were in the same class. The main character wonders, why do I need to be here while they film him? It's so humiliating. Kaisei continues, "Our main character was having trouble with his grades, and he asked me for help. So, I often took time from my own busy training schedule to give him advice." Minato thinks, "What is he talking about?" Kaisei adds, "I even helped out financially at times." Minato feels outraged. "You've got to be kidding me. He never hesitated to take money from me, but I never received a single cent from him. That year was the worst of my life." A reporter says, "Kaisei, you're perfect on the inside as you are on the outside." Kaisei continues, "I promise I won't disturb you at all. I will go down in history as one of the greatest transcendents. Young man, you're so lucky to have someone like Kaisei looking out for you." The reporter adds, "This is your chance to publicly thank him for everything he's done for you." Kaisei cuts in, "Listen, you've already failed the exam anyway. I know this is probably a bad day for you, but you don't want to end it on a worse note, do you?" As the main character reflects on his past, he thinks about how Kaisei was always there. "Whenever I think back on those times, I feel nothing but gratitude for him for the rest of my life." Kaisei interrupts, "All right, without wasting much time, let me bring you over to see my trophies. Wait, what was that boy's name? Do you think I'll need it for the story?" Someone replies, "No, of course not. Who cares about him?" No matter how rotten a person is on the inside, as long as they become a hunter, everyone looks up to them, and people remember their name. As Kaisei guides everyone, he says, "Come to the shrine of the progenitors after school." Minato wonders, why does he want to see me there? What is he going to do with me now? Kaisei continues, "You want to retake the test, right? I put in a good word for you at the Hunter Association." When asked why he would do that, Kaisei replies, "To make myself look good, obviously. The reporters are filming the last part at the shrine. We can talk more later. You'd better be there, okay?" Minato thinks, can I really trust him? I don't like the idea of him using me to make himself look better. This could be the chance of a lifetime, he says. I am going to pass this time, I swear. The next generation of superstar hunters swearing an oath to protect humanity from the monsters at the shrine of the progenitors. What a brilliant concept. That was the perfect photo shoot to end the day. Thank you so much for making time in your busy schedule and letting us follow you around today. He replies, "Oh, it was just my pleasure. I should be thanking you." As he walks down a hallway, he asks if someone has found the entrance. Two people respond, "It's right here." "Good, then go and get the stuff," he orders. Someone comes up behind him and says, "What do you think you're doing?" He responds, "Isn't it obvious? We're hunting for treasure." "You chase treasure, but this is grave robbery. Don't you know who's buried here?" the person exclaims. "Who even cares?" he scoffs, stomping the ground. "They're just a bunch of musty old mummies. We can make a fortune selling the items in here. Why leave them to rot in some tomb? They're no good to those dead bodies anyway." "I can't believe you actually buy into all that progenitors and shrine nonsense," the main character thinks angrily. He dashes toward him but gets punched, blood dripping from his mouth. "Have you forgotten who you're talking to?" the attacker sneers. The main character thinks, what did he just do? That hurts like hell. He could kill me for real. Someone calls out, saying they've found the treasure. The attacker grins. "Once we have the stuff, we're going to live like kings for the rest of our lives." "No, stop! Don't touch those relics." The main character tries to shout, but no sound comes out. The attacker sneers, "Let me explain. You wouldn't understand. I've been looking for someone just like you, a fool to fall for the retest. That's how I found out you spent all your time at the library." When I first heard that, all I could do was laugh. I thought, I've finally found the nitwit I've been looking for. Little guys with big dreams, trying to be hunters. Treasure is just one of those silly things they believe in, like heroes. What a tragic story that'll make. He continues, "This will probably be tomorrow's front page news. Third-year training school student accused of stealing treasure from the shrine of the progenitors, and according to the police, the suspect was you." It doesn't matter as long as they throw him into the ocean, the main character thinks in despair. Is this really how my life is going to end? What about all the training I did every day? Were all those tests for nothing? After I die, I'll disappear forever. No one will remember me. As he runs, a voice speaks. A vessel. He could just be the vessel we've been awaiting to realize our hopes. Another voice asks, "Do you know who we are, boy? We are the spirits resting in the shrine." What's happening? The main character thinks. I hear voices and see lights. Are these the progenitors? One of the voices says, "Young man, the sign on the back of your hand is the mark of the void. The mark possesses no innate power of its own, but it is capable of containing any other power within. Choose one of the progenitors here with whom you wish to bond. Everyone you see before you is a supreme master in their respective domain: magic, martial arts, swordsmanship, fighting, summoning, alchemy. Whoever you choose will grant you far more power than you could ever imagine. Now, who will it be?" He replies, "I know exactly what I want. I'm tired of being picked on by guys like him. In fact, I don't ever want anyone in the world to push me around again." "Then decide," the voice says. "Whose power do you desire?" "All of you. I want all of your power," the main character demands. The voice responds, "Your ambition is extraordinary, but I'm afraid that's not possible. You may be a powerful person, but you cannot contain all of our power." "Silence!" the main character shouts. "I don't want to hear any excuses. All of you, get inside me right now." Suddenly, a flash of light and a small explosion occur. The main character is seen ascending, surrounded by an incredible aura. The three people are shocked, saying, He climbed back up. He's harder to kill than a cockroach. One of them says, I've had enough of this. Just cut off his head and make sure he never comes back again. The main character says, I've never gotten less than top marks in my swordsmanship exams. This is the blade of the true sword. Consider it an honor to be killed by it. As he charges forward and slashes, the attacker suddenly realizes he is the one who has been slashed. How did you figure that out? The main character asks. I asked you a question. I really want to know. Now tell me, what makes you think you're so special? You're too slow, the main character says as a flash of light shoots from the ground. It's almost like, he pauses. A long time ago, there was a legendary blade master. He defeated tens of thousands of monsters with a single branch. And there was a mage who unlocked the secrets of magic, able to cast any spell without saying a word. The transcendents buried in the shrine were larger than life. They felt like characters from fairy tales. The spirits now reside within the main character's body. In total, there are 106 of them. He says, I've decided I'm not going to be just included in the immortal legends. People will tell stories about me. He says, this is incredible. I feel the progenitor spirits in my body. With the mark of the void, I can sense their excitement. I can't believe how much room there is in here. I haven't felt so free in centuries. This is my spot right here. He continues, I've read the tales of them so many times that I have them all memorized. I can't believe the spirits of those great heroes are inside of me. As he speaks, one of the spirits says, All right, everyone, let's see who will take control of this boy's body. A voice responds, That's the legendary swordsman who defeated 10,000 monsters with a single branch. His name is Reichiro Hinoki. I'm pleased to see that my reputation precedes me, even centuries later. Let me say this, true greatness never dies. The main character asks, So what do you intend to do now? Reichiro responds, I am referring to that. What are you going to do? Reisai, another spirit, says, How dare you challenge me? I will teach you a lesson. He charges at Reichiro but gets punched by the main character. Meanwhile, in the city, there is a huge attack, and everyone is running for their lives. Kisaragi arrives and uses their fall impact. Some voices murmur, I can't believe you just took out an A-grade monster. These great hunters really are on another level. He is the S-grade hunter, Kisaragi. He thanks them, saying, Remember the interview we mentioned before? I've gotten so full of myself because everyone has been calling me the rising star or whatever. Another voice interjects, That's enough. The more attention he gets, the better it is for the guild's reputation. Come on, let's hand in the report and go get a drink. Suddenly someone asks, What's that monstrous energy coming from? As everyone gathers, they notice that the pressure is so intense that the B-grade and A-grade members can barely stand. This must be at least an escalated monster, which means we'll need to launch a full-scale attack to bring it down. As everyone gets ready, a monster appears and someone exclaims, Where did that come from? The monster speaks, It's your fault for defiling the shrine. One of the boss monsters from the tower was sealed in the shrine that you destroyed back then. Some of the monsters from the tower managed to cheat death using the hibernation scale. That thing is known as the Pest of Futility, and it is estimated to be an S-grade or higher monster. It gives off poisonous spores that kill people within a radius of several miles. This type of monster used to be as common as houseflies, but it looks like young people nowadays are not used to them. As panic ensues, everyone says, I'm getting out of here. They don't want to die. The monster warns, I wouldn't make any sudden movements if I were you. Otherwise, I will target you first. The monster charges at Reisai, who exclaims, This cannot be. I have slashed through dragons with this sword. As the monster grabs him, the main character thinks, I tried to warn him. The spirit says, How about you give me complete control over your body? You've seen me in action. You know my style of swordsmanship and what it is capable of. While everyone else is still busy setting up, this is the perfect chance to take control of the vessel for myself. The main character replies, I don't mind you lending my body. Is that so? The spirit asks. Then I will lend my body to all of you. I'm going to surpass you all, no matter what. If I'm going to exceed them someday, I need to experience power for myself. So go ahead and show me everything you've got. Another spirit says, We might have bitten off more than we can chew, but the main character responds, "Let's just do this." As all the spirits fight the monster, they eventually beat it and cut it in half. Someone is seen atop a building, saying, "The monster is already dead. I was just on my way over there. I didn't think there were any hunters in the area powerful enough to take on that monster." Based on the footage captured, it was a student at the hunter training school. "I need to meet this kid in person. He is the strongest transcendent in the world, Midori Ichihara." As he says, "It has been a long time, Mr. Director. According to the footage captured by the Raven, one of your students named Minato Kanagi defeated it. It turns out he's been the top hunter for 3 years in a row. I'm having a hard time believing this. Could you do me a favor? Were you okay during that monster attack yesterday? That aura was something else. I was totally paralyzed." The other boy responds, "I'm still recovering. What if I told you I'm actually the one who beat the monster?" "That's not possible. It's been 10 years since the last S-grade monster appeared. Seriously, people are saying one of the students here killed it." Meanwhile, in the hallway, 2 people are discussing something. One of the boys says, "No way. How could anyone here kill a monster like that? Besides, if someone was that powerful, there's no way they would be going to a school like this." Everyone keeps talking about what happened yesterday. "Whoever killed the monster is definitely some numbskull kid. I cannot understand. It will create chaos to say the monster was defeated, but the result was me borrowing the power of my body." The spirit says, "You're so easily exhausted," and Raikiro admonishes the main character to get up, saying, "Didn't you say that you were going to surpass the progenitors? I'm going to surpass you all, no matter what." "Of course I said that," the main character replies. "Then show me some perseverance," Riichiro urges. "These modern transcendents are weak. They're hardly any better than the average person on the street. If a tower appeared right now, the whole world would be wiped out in an instant." Suddenly, he reacts to something, and the main character asks, "Is something wrong?" "I just sensed an enormous wave of energy," Riichiro says. "Hurry up! Is this because I'm getting kicked out of the school?" That training school gives students 3 chances to take the hunter exam. Since I've already used up my 3 attempts, I cannot take the exam at the training school again. I'll have to apply for the ordinary exam next time. As someone tells him to go back out to the field because he's being retested, he replies, "I'm not exactly in great shape, but I will do my best." During the 100-yard dash, the average time is 3.6 seconds, and his high score is 3.7 seconds. One of the guys says, "Don't you recognize him? That kid is the most famous failure at the training school. He failed 3 times in 3 years, so they're probably giving him a second chance because they feel sorry for him." As the dash starts, he suddenly completes the race in just 1.2 seconds. Next comes the 1.8-mile run, where the average time is 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and his high score is 3 minutes and 17 seconds. He completes it in 1 minute and 17 seconds, leaving everyone shocked. Next comes the number of push-ups in 2 minutes, where the average is 215 push-ups and the high score is 418 push-ups. He does 890 push-ups. Then, in the bench press, the average weight is 880 pounds and the high score is 365 pounds, but he can bench press 2,820 pounds. Everyone is in disbelief. He's breaking all the previous high scores, more than the world record. Is he even human? He thinks, did the progenitors send me their power? He replies, why would I help him with the answers? All I did was stand back and watch. Meanwhile, in the director's office, the scores are presented. The director says, this score is extremely impressive. I was wondering why you asked us to test this particular student. I must admit, his athletic abilities are quite remarkable. The problem is his mana measurement. This young man received the same assessment on every exam over the last 3 years, and his mana level is unmeasurable. In other words, he has 0 mana in him. A girl comments, I think we've been wrong about him. Just hold on and wait to see what happens, the director responds. The time comes for the mana measurement. Now, I'm sure you know how mana is measured. You spin the fan as many times as you can within 30 seconds. The number of rotations will be your final score. The average score is 513 rotations, and the highest score is 4,022 rotations. He says, no matter how hard I try, I've never made the fan spin fast. But during the last exam, I didn't even know what mana felt like. I let it move objects, but I understand now it's all about circulation. Mana travels up, then circulates throughout the body, returning down to your toes. By using careful breathing to accelerate the flow of mana, you can fire it from the palm of your hand. As the exam begins, the fan starts moving very fast. Anyone in front of it cannot control their body because the speed is too high. The fan is spinning too quickly. The gauge can't even measure the number of rotations. Suddenly, the fan explodes with a massive explosion that can be seen a mile away. The director exclaims, "This young man appears to be a special case, just like I was. He is the second student in history after me whose level is unmeasurable." As he passes the hunter exam, everyone cheers for him. He thanks everyone, saying, "I cannot believe I had this power inside me." Minato says, just as expected, from the moment he lent his body to the progenitors, the latent power within him began to work. This kid is not just an ordinary person who happens to have the mark of the void. We have been waiting centuries for someone like this. Isn't that right, my dear friends? The boy might be the key to realizing our dreams. A flash appears in front of them, and he asks, "So, what kind of explosion was that?" Midori Ichihara, the greatest transcendent of our time, replies, "That would explain the powerful energy wave I sensed this morning." He's surprised to see Midori here. What is he doing here, he wonders. Midori says, "I saw your performance on the exam. Congratulations on passing the hunter exam." "Thank you," he replies, shocked. How does he know my name? Now it's time for a bonus exam. Would you like to know what it is called? He asks. "What is it?" Midori responds, "Try to land one blow against the strongest transcendent in the world." He is very shocked to hear that. His name is Midori Ichihara, and he is 23 years old. He became a hunter at just 9 years old and has been extremely active as a transcendent since then. No one questions his reputation as the strongest warrior in the world. He can slay thousands of monsters in a single blow and is capable of killing even high-level monsters or hunters with his blade alone. He almost single-handedly resolved the Pandemonium incident 10 years ago and the outbreak 5 years ago. He is a literal living legend. The spirit says, "Let me take over your body right now." Midori replies, "The rules are simple. Within the next minute, all you need to do is hit me once to win. There is no penalty if you lose, and I will only attack once every 10 seconds. The protagonist says, "Don't worry, I will go all out. I want your skills, but you are free to use the mist. I brought some weapons for us as well, so go ahead and take whatever you need." He thinks, when did he prepare all that? The strongest transcendent says, "That bonus exam, what the heck is going on here? I'm really about to fight a famous person by myself for 1 minute." He asks, "Is it okay if I use a weapon?" Midori replies, "Of course. My body is stronger than steel. I can cut right through any blade you use against me." The spirits inside him say, "Just let me handle this." One of them adds, "I guess not all warriors are weak after all." He is practically bouncing off the walls with excitement. He is so powerful that even one of the progenitors is unable to fight him. There is no way I can defeat him. In that case, Midori shows the timer and tells him to begin. The protagonist dashes toward him, and the spirit says, "Are you going to fight him yourself? This is so unfair." He replies, "I know this is completely reckless, but still, I want to be a legend someday. In order to do so, I need to experience the current legends for myself." Midori then asks, "Which social media do you use? Videos of our fight will be all over the internet soon." Everyone watches him because every attack is recorded on his phone. Everyone is shocked that he cannot hit Midori even once. He thinks, this is strange. Most people would be exhausted after taking so many hits in a row, but this kid is not showing any signs of slowing down. He uses a diagonal strike, another slash with a horizontal split, along with a shin attack, including a wind uppercut. Midori remarks, "This is amazing. My body does exactly what I want it to, and I don't get tired at all, no matter how much I attack him. I'm not sure if it's my body or if I learned from the progenitors, but I definitely sense a change in my body." Midori says, it has been 10 seconds, and he attacks once, throwing the protagonist out of the field easily. The protagonist exclaims, "I cannot believe this. I am up against the strongest person in the world, and he just hit me with a direct attack. The old me would probably be dead after a blow like that. This is absolutely incredible. I was not imagining it. I am really stronger than before. But unfortunately, I am not good enough to pass his test yet. Oh well, that's okay. I'll just keep trying my best for the remainder of the exam. Midori replies, sorry, but I have seen enough. There are only 30 seconds left. He hits the protagonist again, and he falls to the ground. Midori comments, he is certainly talented, but not as talented as he needs to be my equal. Midori calls, bring him back now. He says, thank you, but I am getting excited about this kid. The protagonist passes out, and Midori finally has control over his body. He asks, are you ready to have some real fun? He says, there it is. Just a moment ago, this is the energy that I sensed. That's why I lost control. Has he become someone else, or is this some kind of scale? Either way, it doesn't matter. The point is that he has transformed into an absolute beast. He continues, don't zone out. I am talking to you. His movements are completely different now. Both his speed and power are vastly improved compared to just a moment ago. In fact, his swordsmanship itself has improved a bit as well. His strikes are now more confident and certain than before. He moves with the total confidence of a veteran warrior who knows his opponent's every move. It's as natural as commanding his blade with the sureness and inevitability of a powerful wave crashing down on everything in its path. I am starting to see how you managed to slay the monster, he observes. With only 40 seconds left, he thinks, you think I can't do something so obvious? He laughs after dodging an attack and calls it amazing. If you go easy on me, I promise you will regret this. As every weapon rises into the sky, he comments, no, that's not like it. Everyone calls it awesome as they both fight in the air. The boy's body is not strong enough to fully accept the power yet, but the spirit helps him out. He says, old man, you'll only get in the way. After some attacks, he calls it impressive, saying, not only is he boring me, but he's actually got me excited. He thinks, I don't have any soul stones left. Should I try a blunt weapon or a firearm? With only 10 seconds left, he says, I need to borrow this, as he steals someone's weapon and charges toward Midori. It can't be. Just a little longer. If we keep going like this, the whole building will collapse. One of the men exclaims, he took my soul as they're fighting. He's incredible. He charges toward Midori as the 60-second timer reaches its end. I am not done yet. He leaps into the air and shows his void circle. Everyone is shocked to see it, and he declares, let's see if you can block this. The dual Jabong's supreme masters are a real sight amid the non-stop attacking and defending. The two warriors try to find a single answer. It's almost like a breathtaking match between two chess masters. All you can do is stand back and watch in awe. Yet that little kid, for a very brief moment, says, let's see if you can block this. But the kid throws something that neither I nor that guy had seen before. He unlocked a whole new path. As he strikes him with his hand, he says, I was not quite strong enough to hit him. He grabs the man's hand and says, you passed. Everyone in the crowd is stunned and asks, what just happened? Who won? The strongest person replies, he passed. That little guy is amazing. By the way, his arm is completely messed up. Will you mind healing him for me? Only the crowd hears, he passed the exam. That means he actually managed to hit him. I cannot believe this. As his arm is being healed, the girl tells him not to move. He thanks her, and she congratulates him, saying, I'm so glad you passed. He responds, don't you remember? I'm so offended. I might have given you a few bonus points, but I still passed. None of those made-up fight combos were excellent. But above all, you managed to dodge my last attack, and that was particularly impressive. You should be proud of yourself. He thanks him and asks if he gets anything for passing the exam. Meanwhile, in another room, a woman calls for Minato and asks, how many people did you say are coming over today? He replies, I'm not sure, but probably just one. She says, you know that's silly. By the way, it's such a wonderful day. You passed the hunter exam, and you were even scouted by the famous Midori. I always knew you could do great things if you put your mind to it. He thanks his mom, but she expresses her nerves, saying, I'm still nervous that someone so famous is coming here. This will probably seem like a doghouse to someone like him. He reassures her that he is not like that. As he sighs in bed, he wonders why he didn't say anything before. The girl, who has control over his leg, says, "It really hurts. Stop it." He retorts, "Didn't I mention we would be working together if you passed the exam?" She replies, "I don't remember anything about that." He says, "There are too many prime guys on here. I'll come over to your place tonight so we can discuss more details, options I can give you." He adds, "Our real enemy is the Progenitors. They destroyed the tower a long time ago, so now all most hunters do is slay the monsters from the dimensional drift." He wonders if there's anything else as the spirit tells him to get up now. He asks, "Why is everyone gathered together like this? Is there something wrong?" The spirit responds, "We just finished your discussion about you deciding on taking over my body." But he stops them, saying, "I think Midori is here. Let's talk later." As he goes out of the room, he wonders what is going on. He sees his mom collapsed on the ground as he passes through the kitchen. He sees someone eating the food that his mom made and calls it disgusting. "I'm going to teach your mom a lesson." The boy asks, "Who are you, and what did you do to my mom?" The man replies, "Watch your talk. My name is Goro Haitani. I am an S-grade hunter who is here to pick you up." He adds, "Midori and I work together. Quit and pack your things. We need to head over to headquarters." Instead, the boy punches him and says, "I asked you what you did to my mom." Goro responds, "This is perfect. I'll do." I don't like that he seems to be copying that jerk. In any case, this fight will be your chance to decide. Let's see what we're going to do about him. The man says, "Aren't you adorable?" as he charges toward him, but he dodges. It is none other than the old man, who says, "I may be old, but I still know your tricks." He then pushes him out of the house. The boy thinks, "What the hell was that? Was that some kind of Hapkido technique? I already saw the video of his fight with Midori earlier today. I thought he just had exceptionally powerful fighting skills." "I have to admit, you definitely stand out from the others." "What did you do to my mom?" he demands. The man laughs and says, "Based on your tone of voice, I'm guessing you already know that I kidnapped her. She was getting in the way, so I put her straight to sleep. If you're lucky, she might only have some mild side effects after she recovers." "I don't understand. Why would you take my family?" he retorts. The man calls him a numbskull and says, "You are not a companion. You're going to be the nice, obedient little puppet who does whatever we say. The only way to make a weakling like you listen is to take someone that matters to you and hold them hostage." As he gets a hold of his foot, he adds, "And that's right." His words make the boy's face feel hot all of a sudden. "It's time for you to take a test of my poison. I can create thousands of different types of poison within my body. This is such a nuisance to me. If I wanted to, I could fill the whole area within a 3-mile radius with it. I am not allowed to do that, though, because that poison will kill you in a minute. If you agree to join my guild, I will give you the antidote. Otherwise, you can just die for all I care." He thinks, this poisonous gas can wipe everyone out within a 3-mile radius. He must be the most powerful S-grade hunter. No wonder people refer to him as a walking disaster in human form. The apothecary sovereign inside him replies, "I'm sorry to do this to you, but you remind me of my antidote." The man asks, "What are you babbling about? Is the fear of death already making you hallucinate?" He responds, "You know that technique you used a minute ago? That courtesy was of Hyomakoto, the hand of God. I thought he copied the technique after seeing it only once." He continues, "The bane of hordes, Reikiro Hinoki, the azure death spear, Kalki Shima, and the marksman of many bows, Mulgith. I read the stories of them so many times and have memorized them all. My greatest wish in life was to be just like them, and now they're all inside me. In other words, there's absolutely no reason for me to be afraid of you." "All right," the man replies. "If that doesn't affect you, then let's see how you can handle this pain. This next version will have you begging me to put you out of your misery." He attacks, saying, "If you submit to me now, I will make you some serum. At least it won't restore your mind after it's been ravaged by the excruciating pain." He reaches for him and uses the legendary fist, Tak Wong, punching him in the mouth. Then he counters with a punch of his own, using the flash foot. Next, he employs the Beak Carlisle and the Dragon Claw Rowan, combining it with an uppercut to send him into the air. He exclaims, "What happens when I attack someone with my poison?" They're supposed to be terrified and paralyzed with fear. In fact, The poison damages their neural system to the point that they cannot even move. How is this even possible? How can he be so unaffected by my poison? When he uses the Mage of Truth with the Molestius Celestius, an explosion occurs. Desperate, he remarks, "Did you see that? Everyone remembers that day when we slayed Tecna. Only one of us had that power that one time." He looks at him, adding, "He can copy magical skills." I'm not sure if it's because of the mark of the wide, but in any case, the potential is absolutely thrilling. We should do everything we can to help this boy. We are the progenitors, after all. If we work together to teach him everything we know, he could be the greatest transcendent who ever lived.